I will sing out for justice and mercy. I shall sing of kindness and judgment. To you, O God, I shall sing. Psalm 101. Sing out for justice. It's right there in our psalm. Think about the power of song. Think about the power of music. Think about the power of a voice. The power of many voices joining together. The service that was so beautiful this morning, Cantor Bakst and Rabbi Pomerantz. The incredible psalm that was sung by our wonderful 17 cantors. Where are you, cantors? Wave. You drive our movement for justice with song. And think about the voices of the women at the wall. Now, you know who gets this, who really gets it? Our wonderful leader, the chair of our Commission on Social Action, Liz Dunst. Now, no. She's not going to come up and do a solo, thank God. But she does get it because she came to us during this time of uncertainty and concern and thought, what better way to provide comfort and inspire our people to action than through our voices raised in song. And so I'm going to let you in on a little secret we've been keeping. Liz has commissioned a new social justice album that will inspire and bring joy to all who listen. Musicians wrote 43 new Jewish songs for justice. And now only 8 of them were picked for the album. So I asked my soul sister, Perry Smilo, how are the other 34 songwriters feeling about this? But those songs will get out there too, but 8 of the songs will make it onto the album. It will be released at the URJ Biennial, and all the proceeds of that sale will go to support the work of the Religious Action Center of Reform Judaism. So in a few moments, we're going to turn to our call to action as we prepare for our advocacy on Capitol Hill and beyond when we get home to our local communities. So let's then take a moment and be inspired as we raise our voices for justice and mercy, as the psalmist did thousands of years ago, and be blessed by 2 beautiful and talented leaders, Perry Smilo and Stacy Beyer, who will lift up the song and the voice of the incredible Julie Silver and teach us one of the songs of our new album for justice.
When one of us is suffering, we all feel pain. When one of us is stumbling, we fall again and again. All of us are slaves until all of us are free. Everyone needs sanctuary.
When some of us go hungry, all of us can't eat. When words don't mean enough to us, we pray with our feet. We pray for the dreamers who pray for you and me. We can be their sanctuary.
So let us set a table, wide and long,
where every
everyone has plenty, where everyone belongs,
where everyone agrees to disagree.
underneath this canopy.
I will be a shelter, open on all sides.
I will take you in and stand by your side,
No matter where you came from,
or where you'd rather be. I will be your sanctuary. So let us set a table wide and long, where everyone has plenty, where everyone belongs,
where everyone agrees to disagree.
underneath this canopy. So stand up and sing, let your voices ring. Bring what you can bring, and be a sanctuary. So stand up and sing, let your voices ring. Bring what you can bring, and be a sanctuary.
This is your part. So stand up.
So stand up and sing, let your voices ring.
Bring what you can bring.
Bring what you can
And
bring.
be a sanctuary.
And be a sanctuary.
So stand up.
So stand up and sing.
Let your voices.
Let your voices ring.
Bring what you can bring.
Bring what you can bring, and be a sanctuary.
Thank you to Julie Silver.
Let's celebrate our beautiful, beautiful leaders in song. What a powerful reminder, what an incredible reminder of the lesson that Perry and Stacy and Julie Silver, the great songwriter, taught us. It's a song about what it is to be a community in action. She reminds us that we are bound up in one another, that our liberation is dependent on the liberation of others. Did you hear that from Piper and Cornell and from Michael? Our liberation is bound up in the liberation of others. When one of us is hungry, we are all hungry. When one of us is hurt, we are all hurt. When one of us is facing deportation, when one of us is made to feel that we do not exist, when one of us has their rights taken away, then all of us are harmed. Perry and Stacy and Julie challenge us to act, to pray with our feet, to take people in, to stand up for what is right, to call out for justice and ensure that our voices are heard. Throughout this consultation, we have heard stories from members of our movement and from our allies who have shown us that the words in the song are real. These stories are our stories. We are facing deportation. We are facing the loss of healthcare access. We are facing the loss of reproductive rights. We are facing the loss of the right to use the restroom that corresponds to our gender identity. We are the targets of anti-Semitism and the targets of Islamophobia and the targets of racist bias. We are people with disabilities who may lose our independence. We are April Baskin, who worries and fears for her partner and for her brother. Black men who could suffer the life-threatening effects of racism and bias. We are Mona Alfie, who sees the fear of her family's immigration experience repeating itself today with dire consequence. We are Larry Bach, whose son Sheer faces discrimination at the hands of his state. These are our stories. And so in covenant, Kiddoshim Tehiyu, we are called to holiness in action. We are called to action by the stories in this room. We are called to action by the 800 stories and the thousands and thousands of stories beyond that are echoing through our movement during this consultation. We are called to action by the nearly 2 million souls of the Reformed Jewish movement, the largest and most diverse in Jewish life. And we are called to action by the millions of stories across lines of difference beyond. V'ahavta re'echa kamocha. These stories call us to love. Dr. King did teach us that we are now faced with the fact that tomorrow is today, that we are confronted by the fierce urgency of now. But Dr. King went on. He continued saying, there is such a thing as being too late. My friends, we cannot afford to be too late. And so we ask ourselves, each one of us, what am I going to do? Will I pray with my feet? Will I be a sanctuary? Tomorrow we will fill the halls of Congress with a shared message of the fierce urgency of criminal justice reform and immigrant justice. And then we will go home. And what? Well, we just learned a new word about this from Anat Hoffman. Achrayut. Say that with me now. Achrayut. We will be held accountable. Accountability. We need to hold ourselves accountable to one another. V'ahavta re'echa kamocha. To be accountable to one another, to the stories of one another, to our suffering, to our needs, and to our dreams. Accountability is not about words, it is about deeds. In Pirkei Avot, we are taught, it is not what one says, but rather what one does that makes all the difference in the world. So if we go home and we tell people, consultation was so moving, and we do nothing, then we will ignore our mandate. Kiddoshim Tehiyu, all of us, to be holy. But if we, each one of us, makes that commitment, what we are able to do and not just say, then together we become a holy collective. So let's return one last time to that brit, that yellow piece of paper, that covenant. If you've got it, pull it out, because I'm going to sapper-splain it to you. Okay? I'm going to sapper-splain it. This is our Brit Olam. It is the map for our next steps. Oh, not yet. Cue the music. No, not yet. You'll know when, I promise. We're going to build in drama. Are you with me, people? All right, can we go a little bit longer? You with me? All right. I'm sapper-splaining. I haven't even gotten started yet. And I'm even talking really slowly. It's got two sides. One side has the Brit Olam, the covenant with the world that we want to create. That's the part you're going to take home. That's for your congregation, your institution, your organization, or your constituency, whoever you are accountable to engage them in a conversation, in a process, getting them into this covenant. Figure out how your community is going to be part of this movement-wide commitment to respond to the first urgency of now. When you get home, strategize, but not alone, together with your people. The people you came here with or the people you're going home to, your team. Everybody say team. Everybody say delegation. That's your people. And if they're not in this room, if you came alone, that's okay. Your team is waiting for you when you come back. And then together, your team is going to rise up and go to your board. Everybody say board. They're waiting to hear from you. They think you're just going to make a report. How was the consultation? It was nice. It was fine. It was full of achriyuti toot. And then you're going to hold your board and your institution and your congregation accountable because you're going to ask them, are we going to show up and do what we say we believe? Because a covenant is not about what we say, it's about what we do. You'll get there. Because our goal is to help you get as many of our people into this covenant as we can. The other side of the Brit, which is what's important for today, is your commitment card. This is for you. This is what we're asking for each one of you as an individual and the leader of a delegation or part of a delegation. What will you commit to do to bring this work home? How will you bring this back? And at what point will you be able to report out your progress to the rest of us? And we'll hold each other accountable through webinars and conference calls and in-person trainings to help support you and get you there. And there are a lot of ways that your community can engage in the sacred work. And here's what's important, because there's been a lot of stress and drama about this, okay? It can be one of the 3 campaigns that we are in right now that we've identified, but it could also be the other urgent work that you are spearheading in critical campaigns for the urgency of now. And a lot of you have asked, well, why these 3 campaigns? Among all the vulnerable communities, all the stories in our movement and beyond? And it's a good question. Let me note, there are many ways to engage politically and systemically to defend vulnerable communities. And we're doing them. Take as just a great example the URJ Ruderman Initiative on inclusion. This is a great example of how many of our congregations are advocating with and for people with disabilities for full inclusion in Jewish life and advocating externally. There are other examples, from organizing around climate change to food insecurity. But these 3 campaigns, for racial justice, for protecting immigrants, and for defending transgender students, these are a direct response to the many leaders of our congregations who stepped up and asked, how can we help? What can we do now? And then they stepped up. They engaged with us to figure out a strategy, to help us craft a campaign. And more of you will step up, more leaders will emerge, and there will be new campaigns and new leaders and new strategies. And that's how we'll grow, and that's how we will be a movement that is in covenant. And to the extent that we can focus and have shared campaigns and bring the full weight and leverage of our movement to the work, then we will have power and greater impact. And let's remember, finally, this is a covenant, not a contract. This gets lawyers all confused. A contract is all about the fine print. The little stuff, like is it in or is it out? Does it count or does it not? A covenant reflects our collective response to the suffering to which we bear witness. It is our collective response to the suffering to which we bear witness. So, for example, if you are in a campaign to protect the right of women to have reproductive choice and control of their bodies, that puts you in this covenant. This beautiful covenant, the Brit Olam that we crafted, it was inspired by the URJ 2020 vision. It was informed by the CCR leadership. It was crafted by the leaders of the Commission on Social Action, which represents the full breadth and depth of our Reformed Jewish movement. It was sharpened by key lay leaders and clergy. It was edited by many members who are leading the campaign. So I can't stand here alone. I need you to join me. Will the leaders who helped us craft this work come and join me? April and Mona and Larry, will you come up? Will the members of the P&A, the Planning and Administration Task Force of the Commission on Social Action, will you come up? Will the clergy leaders who helped us sharpen and craft our Brit, will you come up? Will the action team leaders who have helped us organize the campaigns, will you come and stand up with me? And I need your love. The Haftareh, come close. Come close. Stand with me. And now, my musicians, you can join us too, because that way you'll be ready. You can clap for these people. This is good. Because hours and hours have gone into the work that got us to this place, to the campaigns that we are in and the campaigns that we're launched. And I hate to say it, we're just getting started, are we not? There will be hours and hours and days and weeks and months ahead when together we will be in this fight. These leaders, like you, have heard the call of the prophets and the words of the rabbis. They know that Dr. King was right when he cried out that tomorrow is today and now is the time to act. And when we all act, when thousands of Reformed Jewish leaders partner across lines of faith and class and race, and hold ourselves accountable to one another and to our allies, and we work together as focused, strategic, prophetic communities, we will bring millions and millions of people into this fight, and then we will have power, and then our power will be transformational. Then we will be able to rise up and act in solidarity with vulnerable communities. Then we will rise up and build relationships across lines of difference, and then we will rise up and address the root causes of injustice through advocacy, organizing in our states and in our local communities and on the federal level. And then we will stand up and foster a culture of sacred and civil dialogue in our congregations where all opinions are heard. And then we will stand up and we will protect the rights of transgendered children in our schools. And then we will rise up and we will defend the rights of immigrants who fear deportation. And then we will stand up and we will change the criminal justice system to reduce mass incarceration. And then we will stand up and we will protect and defend the rights of women and people with disabilities and LGBT folk and people of color and all religious minorities, including Jews. And together we will rise up and recovenant to create a world in which all people experience wholeness, justice, and compassion. Can I have an amen? So if you are with us, I want you to stand up and lift up those yellow cards. Are they filled out? They should be filled out. Let's send them forth to the aisles, because now we're going to take them away from you and we're going to hold ourselves accountable, because it is through these cards that we have pledged to bring the Brit Olam back. Hand in those cards.
That's good. That's good.
Because this is how we'll know you've pledged to work for that world of justice. Hand those cards in, because then we'll know you are building that world of wholeness and justice and compassion. Give those cards up. And in our final way to prepare for the work ahead, let's return to our voices in song as we sing the readiness to stand up and be a sanctuary.
So let us set a table
wide and long, where everyone has plenty, where everyone belongs,
where everyone agrees to disagree. Underneath this canopy,
underneath this canopy.
so stand up and sing.
So stand up and sing.
Let your voices
Let
ring.
your voices ring.
Bring what you can bring.
Bring what you can bring. And be a sanctuary.
So stand up.
So stand up and sing. Let your voices ring. Bring what you can bring. And be a sanctuary. So stand up and sing. Let your voices ring. Bring what you can bring. And be a sanctuary.
One more time.
So stand up and sing. Let your voices ring.
Make it count.
Bring what you can bring.
And what?
And be a sanctuary.